Hello, and welcome to our session, Stronger Together, Combining Data Quality and Governance for Confident AI and Analytics. My name is Julie Bostridge, and I'll be your moderator for today. Before we jump into our session, I just want to go over a few housekeeping items. First, we want to make sure that you know this session is being recorded, and you'll receive the recording after the session has concluded. If you have any questions, we encourage you to ask your questions by putting them into the chat box with the interface, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. We also have a resource center in the console of this webinar that houses a few assets that you can view at your leisure. With that, let's go ahead and get started. Today, we are joined by two wonderful presenters, Jerome Sandron, Head of Data Governance at Belfius Bank, and Sue Pollock, Director of Product Marketing at Precisely. Jerome has a background in computer science and economics and has worked with trading floor applications. He has also overseen market data and LED major projects to centralize that data. Jerome later took on a challenge of implementing a data governance program and developing a data quality framework to ensure the quality of critical data for banks and insurers with a strong focus on regulatory compliance. Today, Belfius has achieved a high level of data governance maturity and relies on Precisely solutions for greater efficiency and user acceptance. Also presenting with us today is Sue Pollock, Director of Product Marketing at Precisely. Sue brings over 15 years of experience in orchestrating comprehensive marketing strategies and leading high-performing marketing teams. Her passion lies in crafting clear messaging and is not full of jargon and technobabble that resonates equally with both businesses and technical audiences, ensuring that value-driven solutions are communicated effectively at entry level. So with that, I'll hand it over to Sue to get us started.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here to speak with you today about the topic of combining data integrity capabilities, or more specifically, we're talking quality and governance, but that doesn't preclude things like observability, master data management, and others. The need for trusted data continues to be front and center as we work with data in support of everything from cloud adoption to managing risk and compliance, democratizing data for the organization, and especially for the hot topic of leveraging AI for data and analytics. But despite that, according to a recent survey, 67% of business leaders still don't trust their data, which is actually quite alarming when you think of it, because we're putting so much effort into these processes. That's why here at Precisely, we're focused on data integrity, which is ensuring the accuracy, consistency, and context of data. Our solutions and product strategy are focused on making data as efficient for use as possible. So when we look at the technology landscape, we've typically implemented point solutions. This is what the market has done for the most part. Maybe you have a data governance tool, you maybe have one or multiple data quality tools, or maybe you're evaluating data observability or reassessing your master data strategy. But historically, they've been treated as independent initiatives or independent solutions. What we're seeing across our customers here is the need for these types of tools to be used in a more combined way. So for example, when you manage data governance policies, we see customers that want to implement data quality standards across their data ecosystem at the same time. Or once you validate data as a part of your master data management program, you want to monitor for anomalies like in the use of inbound data relative to their historical patterns. So maybe you want to implement data observability. We're seeing this combination, and we are looking to see how we can streamline data management. And we are doing that through common elements, like making sure that types of connectors that you need are available to everyone. Workflow management is something that is running across all those processes. Security and having a common catalog are all things that we're very hypersensitive to as far as being able to combine those things. And what we hear and understand from our customers is that no two organizations have the same data journey, right? And depending on your role in the organization, the technologies that you have or that you want to implement, the way you communicate with your customers, the underlying data that you're using, your needs are typically not the same as another organization, even in the same industry sometimes. And where you are in terms of your level of maturity is important. It changes, and with that, your requirements will also change. So how do we make that easier? That's where the need for a broader set of solutions is coming into play. We're seeing the need to combine those capabilities, broader set of capabilities, for a few key benefits, such as expanding user adoption, getting more people using the solutions, managing costs more effectively, huge, right? And getting the most out of your AI and analytics. That's a big, big deal. So this is these are the drivers that we're seeing for more combined solutions. And one of the things I love about this space is how quickly we're all working towards empowering more individuals across the organization to leverage data more easily and with greater trustworthiness. On the left, maybe you're a data steward and you're responsible for implementing data governance and quality best practices to ensure data is easily understood and with the right context. Maybe you're a data engineer and your responsibility is managing the underlying data infrastructure, moving data around. Or maybe you're a critical business function, you have a business role, maybe you're in marketing or sales or finance, and you need the confidence in the data that you're using to make better business decisions. And as you see here, Gartner predicts that by 2025, by the end of this year, 50% of organizations are going to be choosing software based on the user experience, and that's going to require multiple capabilities in a more unified solution. But in order to do that, we have increasing pressures to manage costs. So when you think about it, things like data reusability or reducing data duplication efforts, that's becoming really critical. And we're seeing that as a regular requirement of how we can make data more reusable. And as we deal with growing volumes of data, we have more pressure to reduce the complexity and improve the scalability to ultimately make the right data available to the right people at the right time. And all of that is key to how we're able to manage that costs more effectively. And with all the momentum and excitement that's building around the possibilities of leveraging AI, and more specifically generative AI, ensuring trustworthy data more effectively is more important than ever. As you can see here, again, we're referencing Gartner that states over 60% of us are now reporting AI as a key influence on data programs, but only 12% of us report that the data is sufficient quality and accessibility to use it. So big gap there, right? This isn't just Gartner seeing this. We're seeing this across organizations we work with every day. So let me just spend a few minutes, give you some examples, and then I'm going to turn it over to Jerome to speak more in depth about what they're experiencing. First story I want to talk about here is a leading payments financial services organization. And what they wanted to do is they wanted to integrate all of their data into single view merchant data across the globe and support their marketing campaigns as far as where they were going to offer new and evolving products to customers. In order to do that, they needed to combine and leverage multiple capabilities across data integration, data quality, geo-addressing, and master data management to create that single view and be able to manage that more effectively. And when you think about those type of capabilities coming together, you want to make sure that they're streamlined. Otherwise, it can be very complex. Another example is a golf retail group that we work with, and they had a number of product and digital assets that are scattered across various systems, complex ERP, CRM, spreadsheets, and they needed to have consistency in how they manage their product descriptions, specifications, images, and so forth, and streamline their updates across automated workflows to distribute information across their global channels. So think about it, websites, marketplaces, print catalogs, all going through SAP, and they're going through an SAP S/4HANA data migration. So they needed to create that single source of truth again, but while also validating the data in support of their migration. And so again, they wanted to tackle a number of requirements with just one unified solution across these different areas. And then the last one we have here I'll touch on is a top US bank. They were looking to achieve two objectives. They desired to increase trust and visibility around critical data assets and data products to accelerate their data monetization efforts. And they were also looking to mitigate risk and data privacy compliance and streamline their reporting. What we're seeing we're seeing this a lot around financial service organizations, but also insurance, telecommunications, and more that are really, really highly regulated, right? And so risk and compliance and data privacy is, or will I say, will continue to be a critical factor. And with our help, they identified and designed a strategic roadmap that included data governance, data quality, and a data catalog that enabled them to accelerate the adoption of trusted data products across the organization and mitigate risk with greater visibility into the quality and policies of their most sensitive data. And in this case in particular, they then received an internal audit finding where they were seen as a very mature organization in the way that they tackled these problems because they had that combined initiative of governance and quality, and they were being able to democratize their data across the organization in a very strategic, policy-driven way. We're seeing more and more of these success stories that are coming into place. And I do want to say that I'm not going to just talk about our stories, but I'm going to bring in Jerome here, who's the head of data governance at Belfius, to talk a bit about the incredible things that they've been doing around their data governance and quality management programs there. So, Jerome, I'm thrilled to have you speak about it. This is a great use case. I'm going to turn it over to you.
It's a pleasure for me to be here from Belgium in Europe to talk about my experience in the bank Belfius. Maybe I can present Belfius on the next slide. Yes, thank you. Belfius is a main bank in Belgium with about 3.5 million customers. It's about a third of the Belgian population, so it's quite a big bank in Belgium. And we are covering the whole segments of clients, starting with the private individuals, also the self-employed and small and middle enterprises, but also the corporate market. And we are leader in the public authorities and non-profit organization. So we are very proud to be a kind of a leader in this market. We have a nice success story in our local market. And on the next slide, I would like to share you our statement. We are used to say that we are meaningful and inspiring for the Belgian society together with the customer, and we want to be inspired and to be inspiring by love, and this word love is very important. And it's funny to see that precisely is also using the love in data. We also dare to say to our customer that we love them and we want to make the best that we can for having, in fact, a positive impact on the client. You know, when we are saying to our partner, our husband or our wife, that we love her, we love him, it's not just a word. It's a combination, or yes, it's a combination of little things that we do on a regular basis, every day, little thing or big things, to try to have a positive impact on our partner. And it's the same with our customer. And we dare to say it, and we dare to manage everything we do on a regular basis, small things, big things, but with love for our customer. And this word is really driving us in everything we do internally in the bank. And that's also the case for my data governance framework. So on the next slide, I explain how I can put this love on my day-to-day work, and how can I bring this love to the real customer. It's just a question of about how we can better manage the business knowledge by building a kind of business glossary with all the definitions of the business concepts. We are building the knowledge that we can share and with our stakeholders internally, and that will improve the way we are managing the relationship with the client. It's also about building one single version of the truth to be more efficient in what we are doing. And if we are more efficient, we are also impacting the client with a better way. Also, quality of the customer data is very important. If we by mistake sends the personal data of the client to another client or somebody else, it's a nightmare. So we have to avoid these kind of things. Quality of the business decisions also, all the decisions that are taken internally by the managers are based on data, and we have to be very strong in quality of the data. And again, the love that we try to implement in our day-to-day work, it's about people first. Data governance team is the bridge between the business lines from the internal bank and the data transformation team that are managing the data. With the data governance in between, we implement this kind of ring. And again, it's an image with love, the ring that we are bringing, bridging between the business line and data transformation. On the next slide, yes, we see how we are organized, in fact. So data governance is often part of a CDO or a CTO for technology or CTRO for transformation team. But at Belfius, we are managing data governance at the CFO part, so at the finance division. Why at finance? Because in fact, analytical financial reporting that the CFO produces on a day-to-day is a kind of facilitator to align all the business definitions. It's like, I would say, accounting or finance service are the truth, the one single version of the truth, and not something that a marketing department can produce to put the light on the better way on their achievements. So accounting, finance is the truth, and we are really putting the data governance team, data governance function into the CFO, because we want harmonization. We want to get harmonized definition of the business concept, only one definition for business concept. And for that, we have to put all the people together to decide on what kind of definition we are going to implement for this concept, this data, and so on and so on. On the next slide, we see that we are organized in a federated operating model. So we have a central team data governance, but we are working together with a kind of network of data owners and data stewards. A data owner is a senior executive level, so somebody in the very managing situation, and he is accountable for the data quality of the data that he is managing. So if something is wrong with the data quality, he has to go to the management committee and to say, oh, sorry, we have a problem with the data quality, and we are going to implement an action plan. We are going to do that. So he is accountable. While the data steward is more the subject matter expert who is responsible for the production of the data and responsible for the data quality. So he implements data quality rules and he do the things. He is the doer. Everything works fine with such a network of multiple responsibilities if the sponsorship from the top management is strong. So we have to get a kind of top-down information to say that we are organized such a way. On the next slide, yes, we have a strong, as a bank, since the crisis in 2011, we have a very strong regulated context, and we are pushed by the regulator. In Europe, it's the Central European Bank, who pushes us to go very far and in a strong internal governance, to have a kind of multiple committees to communicate to and to escalate if we have some data quality problem. We have also to work on the knowledge of the management body. So it means that the management levels in those governance has to be aware about what we are doing in the data quality or data management part of the bank. So knowledge of the management body is very important. They have to know the regulation in place and to act in this direction. We have to put in place an ambitious program, a project with a comprehensive data governance and data quality framework that is written in policies, in guidelines, and so on and so on. And we have also to have sufficient scope of application. So we can, the regulator doesn't say how far we have to go in scoping, but we have to decide ourselves what it means sufficient. Also, for the resources that we are putting on this program, we have to be sufficiently human covered, but it's also a point that we have to take. And the role of the different lines of defense, we mean the risk department, the audit, internal audit department, has also a strong work to do together with us in this kind of data quality and data governance framework. Yes, this is a regulation, in fact, BCBS 239 that you have maybe already heard about. You can pass the next slide, thank you. And thanks to this organization in a federated operating model with data owners, data stewards, thanks to the regulation that pushes us to go very far in development of our framework, we have achieved at Belfius to build a strong business glossary with the definition of business terms, with ownership. For each business term, the couple of data owner and data steward. Also, the identification of the master source. For each business source, for each business term, we have those kind of definition, ownership, and master source. We have implement, and that's possible also in precisely because we have done it, a platinum model to say in our data governance journey, how far we are in this journey. So at the beginning, we start with the color iron, we don't do anything. But at the end of the journey, we are at platinum because we have made definitions, we have ownership, we have lineage, we have data quality controls, we have data quality dashboarding, and so on and so on. And this journey gives us the color, and we know at any time in which color we are for a specific scope of business term. So very useful to have this idea on where we stand with our implementation of data governance and data quality. Data quality framework that we have built, of course, and in link with the business glossary. So we put data quality on the business terms that we have in the business glossary. So to have this kind of couple between business glossary and data quality framework, it's useful to have one integrated tool to manage the two phases of the problem. Data lineage is also very important to document in such a tool, because thanks to data lineage, we know also the data journey from the creation of the data until the usage of the data, and passing through all the transformation of the data. And when you have documented this lineage with all the transformation points, you know where you have to implement your data quality rules. So this is a very important step to manage. On the next slide, yes, this is some figures that we have achieved at Belfius with our business glossary and with our data quality framework. You see that we have about 2,000 business terms, business concepts that are defined. We target to reach about 5,000 concepts. And yes, it was a nice sentence from Emily speaking about reusability. We have also a reuse factor that says that the business terms that we have defined are reused by many use cases at the same time. So what we do at the first time is used multiple times, and it's a kind of scale effect. So reuse factor of 31% is very nice. And we have, for the moment, developed about 2,000 business data quality rules, and we are increasing this number. I guess that at the end of the journey, we will get about 10,000 quality rules in the tool, so it will be huge. On the next slide, yes, it's about our journey. So We have started last year with the implementation of Precisely, first with a business glossary, and in a couple of months, and it's really the truth, we have started in June 2023 to implement the business glossary in development in Precisely, and in September we were already able to propose in production the business glossary, to open the business glossary to all the users. So in a 3 months migration, it was possible to do it. And we took a little bit more months to develop our data quality framework and to put it in production last year in Q4. So in link with our business glossary in the same tool Precisely, business glossary and data quality together. But now in September, or we are already in October 2024, now begins the future for us, because we are going to implement many other things, such as better concept definitions and data quality rules definitions. We are also implementing our, I would say, increasing our coverage of data concept for being compliant for BCBS 239 with about 200 more business concept in our data quality framework. So it will be a huge work to bring them 200 concepts from Iron to Platinum to manage the whole data governance journey for those 200 critical concepts. We are going also to implement the end-to-end data lineage in Precisely. So the link between all the business concepts and the different processes that are managing or using them, but also the link between the business concept and the technical assets that are the, in fact, the replication of this concept into technical asset. So very interesting to start from the conceptual view, to click on it, thanks to Precisely, and to get down to all the technical metadata of those concepts, and to know that this concept is implemented in this table, in this data warehouse, this column, etc. So we are building the data knowledge end to end, from business to technical. Very, very useful. And we managed to implement a lot of automation. Again, thanks to the workflows that are available in Precisely, and to automate the validation processes, the way that data steward or the data owner can validate in the tool, and to bring this automation and to be able to manage a big number of assets. We will also implement the module Trillium of the Precisely suite. So Trillium is also very useful for remediation on data such as client data, and we will for sure manage a lot of things thanks to Trillium. And I think about, for instance, about profiling the data and see where we have gaps in data, where we have extreme values, and so on and so on. And we will also connect to Precisely our issue management, so a tool in which we can define action plans in case of data quality issues that we have detected thanks to Precisely. We will be able to generate an issue in our issue management tool and to attribute an action plan to a data owner or data steward to implement it. And the future is really starting now with AI. We are using a lot of AI in our development, in our new AI models. So AI governance is the new world for us, and we are certainly starting this nice story. And I guess, again, thanks to Precisely.
Thank you, Jerome. I love that story, and I really appreciate you going through this. You know, I work with a lot of organizations, and when we were preparing for this conversation, what impressed me the most was how you laid this out. I mean, we were talking earlier that the fact that you're actually in the CFO organization, which is a little bit different from what we typically see. But the strategic approach that you've taken to the fact that you even knew that even though there's a lot of regulatory drivers that are feeding, you knew that there was a need for greater data governance across the organization. And the fact that you're looking at this and really looking about how you can enable the data for your customers and users across your organization was really impressive. It was very strategic the way you handled this, and the implementation and the scale that you've already started to implement is really impressive. Definitely, you mentioned AI as part of your strategy as far as you go forward, and it's not only the AI initiatives from an enterprise standpoint, but implementing AI as a part of the solution itself. So a lot of the things that we're doing from a product standpoint, like how do you keep building automation into that and intelligence into what you're doing to make sure that those programs are more efficient as we go forward. So thank you again. Appreciate you telling your story. I'm revisiting this slide, right? We saw this before, and I just wanted to remind you that we're looking to achieve trusted data. Even Jerome mentioned a number of these areas as programs that are important these days. Modernizing your data landscape, or starting to explore generative AI, or obviously risk and compliance is always there. But really, there's usually some fundamental drivers that are increasing the need for trusted data. And so what we want to make sure, regardless of what the driver is, what the use case is how we can set you up for long-term success. Like I mentioned before, no two organizations really have the same journey. We're at all different levels of maturity, different areas. And so whether you're looking to integrate data, catalog critical data across your environment or across third-party sources, if you're validating data, want to enrich it with more context, or enable downstream analytics and customer communications, we are going to continue to invest in making your user experience more streamlined and easier, bringing together these capabilities in a more efficient way and being able to allow you to scale up and down as your requirements change. Let's face it, there's a lot of movement in the technology landscape, and how you manage your data is going to change. But another thing that's changing an awful lot is how individuals across the organizations interact with this data. And that's the thing that I want you to leave with is we are here to support you. We're here to support your team to make sure that you are streamlining your data processes as we move forward. With that, I'm going to turn it back over.
Awesome. Thank you, Jerome and Sue, so much for taking us through our presentation today and providing those fantastic insights for our audience. So to wrap up our session, just a quick reminder that the recording of this webinar will be sent to you in the coming days, and any questions that were asked through the chat will be addressed as soon as possible. Thank you so much for being with us today and joining our session. We hope to see you at a future Precisely session, and we hope you guys have a fantastic day.